Good afternoon again. My name is Erica Hamilton, and as mentioned earlier, I teach civics. So I was one of those teachers who was told at the end of last school year that my school would be closing in June. And so the unfortunate thing is, after giving so much, 15 years to a community that was underserved, I mean, you just name it, all of the things that you see about Chicago, I was teaching those children. I was forced, in a sense, to make a shift and to change. I didn't leave an underserved, privileged community to go to one that was. I went and transferred my skills to another school on the west side of Chicago. And at first, I was tapped by Heather. She's the person who's in charge of our civic engagement. She wanted me to start the PB process in my classroom. She wanted to make sure that the principal was going to make a financial commitment as well. So the principal was gung-ho. I mean, the school is a social justice school, so she was 100% involved and invested. The students, however, had the sense of being jaded, in a sense. They felt as if the adults listen to us, but then they take the ideas that we give them and then they put them on their shelves and they never do anything about it. So I had a unique opportunity to not only learn the students, learn the school culture, but for the students to learn me too, for them to understand that I am 100% invested in their ideas and I want to see their ideas come to fruition. So at the very beginning of the school year, all students that are enrolled in the civics course took a survey. So I said, you know what, I need a hook. I need to get these students involved. I need these students to understand that I'm here, that I'm invested, and I'm not just speaking to them and then I'm going to throw their ideas on the shelf. So I took that data from the student survey and I played a game of Family Feud. With the data, I didn't have the top 10 answers on the board. I kind of narrowed it down to the top 5 answers on the board. Those began to generate, man, we need the following things done at our school. So very much like you saw with the first group, how they presented and we did the democracy, I kind of did that in a sense when I received professional development through the PBP process. And it helped me to get focused on, okay, the students have this certain amount of money, they're going to need these transferable skills from class to class in order to make sure that this process is a viable process. So as I began to learn my students, I realized, and Ted and I were just talking, I have quite a few students whose mothers are deceased. And so that kind of pulled on my heart and it kind of reassured me that this work that we're doing, this is some powerful work. I teach seniors in the civics course. And so because the process is a longer process than the school year will allow, and most of them will matriculate in June, I coined it the legacy process. And within that legacy process, the students came up with some amazing ideas. I had students working in groups, and those who wanted to work by themselves, they could do an individual project. The ideas that the students came up with are amazing. Most of them dealt with conflict management. Some of them dealt with cyberbullying, having low self-esteem, what to do in a relationship that is unhealthy, whether it be with your partner or parent or teacher. Some of them also felt like they needed some anger management supports. And so we began that process of narrowing down their ideas. There were a total of 12 ideas that the students came up with. And within those 12 ideas, we began to narrow their process. I got some support from PB. I had a member of the team come in, listen to the process. We were able to streamline that. The students then used what is infused within the school, Google Classroom. And so the students were able to vote on surveys that were created by those 10 groups. The information that were received was excellent. And they took that information and that informed their decision on this is the problem and these are our solutions. Then I went a step further. I wanted to get like a steering committee together, people that the students knew, so I got their advisory teachers, I got the dean of students, the assistant principal, the coaches were all excited about coming in, listening to what the students had to offer. At the end, because it is within a curriculum course, I had to assess the students. And at my school, my principal is very keen on what does the data say. So I created a rubric and it became their final exam. And those persons that were a part of the panel gave them feedback but also evaluated their work. Now I understand this, as a teacher, the students were not too happy to see that they had to do some interdisciplinary skills. What do you mean, mean, median, and mode? I thought this was a civics class. Why are we doing math here? But I wanted them to understand that we're going to pull the data just like the data was pulled when we did our Family Feud. I wanted them to see that this data is actually going to be the data that you're going to use to inform what should take place. So we went through the process, we vetted the particular projects, And at the end, one group won. And that group coined their legacy project as a STEAM room. Really quickly, some of the things that the students want to do in the STEAM room is to be able to let off some steam. If they're having a bad day, guess what? They're punching bags and they're punching gloves. So they can punch the bag as opposed to one another. Also, a place where if you are struggling with your self-esteem, perhaps someone has said something to you to bring you down to a level that you don't necessarily want to be at, that STEAM room is an opportunity for you to go. Now understand this, logistically we are still working on this. We just completed the vote. And so we have to logistically figure out what students are going, because we don't want them to just go because they want to take a break in third period civics class. We want them to go because they feel a viable need. And I am so very proud of my students because they saw the need, they addressed the need, and it has been accepted and embraced by all members of our faculty, students, and staff. So that's where we are.